Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Carl Jung, you think you know love. You think it is soft, warm, and easy. A hand to hold, a heart that beats beside yours. But that is a mirage. You reach out, and the closer you get, the more it slips away. Like sunlight on water, like a shadow that moves when you try to catch it. Society tells you love is a comfort, a security blanket wrapped around your life. Romantic movies sell you fairy tales. Social media presents filtered snapshots of perfection. Even friends whisper advice that keeps you blind. Love should make you happy. Love should complete you. But what if that was never the point? What if the comfort you crave is a chain disguised as warmth? You have been taught to seek excitement, to crave attention, to mistake intensity for depth. A passionate argument mistaken for passion itself. A jealous glance read as proof of devotion. You do not see it, but the illusions pile up, layer upon layer, like smoke in a dark room. You inhale it, thinking it is air. You follow it, thinking it is a path. And yet, deep inside, there is a voice whispering, something here is not true. Something here will burn you if you stay too long. The heart longs for authenticity, but the mind settles for the shadow, because the shadow is easier, safer, familiar. You do not act in a vacuum. Every choice you make, every person you cling to, is guided by unseen forces. Your wounds, your unprocessed pain, your hidden fears, they are the puppet masters of your relationships. That anger you feel when someone is late, that jealousy that rises like smoke in your chest, that quiet despair when they leave. It is not just them. It is a replay of old scripts. Abandonment you felt as a child, the moments you were unseen, unheard, unvalued. Those ghosts ride your decisions. You select partners who mirror old betrayals, who reflect the parts of yourself you refuse to face. And each time, the cycle repeats. The illusion deepens. You believe it is them, when it is your own shadow dictating the play. The truth is unavoidable. You will continue blind, or you will look. You will either stumble through the same patterns, drowning in familiar chaos, or you will confront the darkness quietly waiting inside you. This is not a journey of blame, nor a punishment. It is the threshold to self-knowledge. To wake up is not easy. You will feel exposed. You will feel fear. But each step toward awareness is a step toward freedom. The questions will press on you. Why did I choose this person? Why do I feel this way? What am I running from? The answers are not comfortable, but they are yours. They are keys to understanding the forces that have shaped every heartbeat, every longing, every heartbreak. You can stay lost in the shadows, chasing mirages of love that never touch your skin. Or you can begin the journey inward, toward the parts of yourself you have denied. The journey begins not with them, not with the world, but with you. To see clearly, to feel deeply, to love consciously. This is the path ahead. You cannot turn away. You cannot pretend you do not see. It is waiting. Truth is the beginning of freedom. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Carl Jung, you tell yourself you love them. You cling. You forgive the same mistakes again and again. You stay because it is familiar, because the thought of leaving feels like stepping into a storm without a map. But what you call love is often something else entirely. It is a dependency in disguise. It is neediness, a fear of being alone, a hunger for validation. You seek someone to fill the void inside you, to reassure you that you are worthy, that you are enough. You confuse presence with understanding, attention with intimacy, touch with acceptance. You are not connecting, you are tethered. Think of the friends who told you you can't live without them, or the nights scrolling through their social media, feeling a spike of panic when you see them smile without you. That panic is not love. It is a survival instinct, misfiring in the mind of someone who has not yet confronted their own shadow. You choose partners who mirror your unresolved fears. You chase affection like a lifeline, mistaking dependence for devotion. And the pattern repeats, subtle, insidious, like water slowly eroding rock. You do not realize that the heart you offer is not free. It is bound by the chains of old wounds, by scripts you inherited, by unconscious contracts written in fear. And then there is projection. You do not see the person in front of you. You see who you need them to be. Their laughter is interpreted as devotion. Their silence is read as intrigue. Their flaws are edited out in your mind, replaced by your ideals, by the story you tell yourself. He is the partner who completes you. She is the one who understands your pain. And when reality rises to confront you, the quiet moments of disappointment, the gestures of indifference, you feel betrayed. You cannot see that the betrayal is not theirs. It is the illusion cracking. You projected your salvation onto another human being, forgetting that no one else can complete you. Comfort becomes the cage. You tolerate the inconsistencies, the small cruelties, the patterns you swore you would never repeat. You stay because the known chaos is less terrifying than the unknown freedom. You trade authenticity for the illusion of stability. You learn to compromise your boundaries, to dim your light, to quiet your voice. The room of your life fills with shadows that look like security. You feel safe, but safety is an illusion, built on compromise, fear, and repetition. You might wake up one morning and realize that your comfort has trapped you in cycles you swore you would escape. The cage is invisible until the bars scrape your skin. Look closely at the patterns. Every repeated fight, every moment of panic, every heart-clenching silence is a mirror. It reflects the unmet needs you carry, the old wounds that guide your choices, the projections that blind you. The illusions are seductive, but they are not love. Love does not require self-abandonment. Love does not thrive in fear. Love is not a shadow dressed in warmth. Real intimacy begins when you stop seeking fulfillment outside yourself and confront the truth within. You can continue to confuse comfort for devotion, projection for connection, neediness for love. Or you can step into awareness, tear apart the illusions, and see clearly. The mirror is unflinching. The shadows are patient. And in that confrontation lies your liberation. True love begins when illusions end. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung, you enter a relationship thinking it is a choice. You feel drawn, swept away by chemistry, by timing, by that unexplainable pull. But look closer. That pull is not random. It is old pain speaking in new voices. The abandonment you felt as a child whispers in your adult heart. The moments when you were unseen, ignored, or dismissed replay themselves in subtle ways. You gravitate toward partners who mirror your earliest wounds. A friend who betrays, a lover who withdraws, a partner who cannot fully meet you. These are not coincidences. Your history is selecting the stage, and you are stepping onto it, believing it is your free will. Every heartbreak, every familiar disappointment is a shadow script written long before you learned how to read your own heart. Think of the child inside you, lonely in the playground, waiting for someone to notice. That child still sits in the corners of your mind. Every time a partner leaves without explanation, that child whispers, "I am not enough." Every time someone is late to a date or fails to text back, that child flares with fear. And you act, often unconsciously, to recreate and resolve these old scenes. You cling, you argue, you forgive too quickly, you pull away. The same patterns over and over, a haunting repetition. You are not failing at love. You are answering the call of wounds that have been guiding you from the shadows. Your shadow is patient. It is the puppet master behind anger, fear, jealousy, and insecurity. It waits for moments when you are tired, distracted, or vulnerable. A casual comment triggers rage. A forgotten detail sparks panic. A jealous thought erupts into an argument. These reactions are not accidents. They are the shadow speaking through you, enacting scripts it learned long ago. You see betrayal where none exists, neediness where patience would suffice, withdrawal where presence is offered. The shadow thrives in the unexamined, weaving chaos from unresolved trauma, dictating choices, and sabotaging intimacy without mercy. You have to learn to recognize the signs. The same fight erupting over the same topic. The familiar spiral of anxiety when someone steps away. The quiet dread that surfaces before a conversation even begins. These are not flaws. They are signals. They are markers pointing directly to unhealed parts of yourself. The trigger is the teacher. The emotional explosion is the message. Observe without judgment. Each flare of emotion is a window into your unconscious. Your heartbreaks are not meaningless. They are breadcrumbs leading you to the shadow you have avoided. Imagine standing before a mirror and seeing not only your reflection, but every shadow trait that drives your relational life. Fear of abandonment, the need for validation, anger at imagined slights, jealousy at imagined betrayals, all reflected back at you. This mirror is uncomfortable. It shows patterns, not excuses. It reveals how much of your adult love life is a stage, your behaviors scripted by old trauma. Recognition is terrifying because it asks for accountability, but it is also liberating. The first step to freedom is seeing clearly what has guided you all along. You were never completely blind. You were following echoes of your own wounds, misreading them as fate, misnaming them as love. You cannot change what has already been scripted in your past, but you can begin to understand it, to trace the lines from childhood pain to adult choice. You can name the triggers. You can pause before reacting. You can see the shadow in yourself before it pulls your heart into chaos. Awareness is not weakness. It is power. It is the light that illuminates the puppeteer's strings, so you may choose which ones to cut, which ones to keep, and which ones to hold with conscious care. Your relationships are not random. Your choices are not accidents. Your wounds have been guiding you, whispering, pulling, teaching. And now, for the first time, you have a chance to listen differently, to respond differently, to love consciously rather than unconsciously. The shadows will still be there, but now they can be seen, confronted, and integrated. The pain can become wisdom. The repetition can become transformation. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. Carl Jung. The mirror shatters. You reach for it, desperate to see yourself reflected whole, and all you find are jagged fragments. Each shard catches a different piece of your identity, some bright, some shadowed, some unrecognizable. The person you thought you were, the lover, the partner, the confident self, is scattered across the floor. You see the cracks where illusion once held firm, where idealized love once promised safety, passion, and completion. Every smooth reflection of security now lies in splinters. You try to gather them, but your hands bleed on the edges, and the reflection wavers with every attempt. It is a collapse you did not anticipate, a sudden storm that leaves you drenched in disbelief and confusion. Grief rises like a tide you cannot escape. Rage follows, a fire that burns in the chest when you recall betrayal, abandonment, or the countless small betrayals you excused in the name of love. Confusion winds around your mind, twisting thoughts into loops. Did I choose wrong? Was I blind? Am I broken? You feel raw, exposed, and unsteady. Nights are endless, echoing with silence, with imagined conversations that twist like knives. Even in the daylight, the familiar world feels unreal, distorted. Friends and colleagues speak, move, and smile as if nothing has changed, while your inner landscape trembles, fractured and storm-torn. These emotions are overwhelming, but they are also a message from the shadow you have ignored. They are proof that the illusions are falling away, and that beneath them lies the truth you have long avoided. In this chaos, the identity void opens. Who are you, if not the lover you believed yourself to be? If the relationship that defined part of your existence dissolves, what remains? You stand at the edge of a precipice, looking down at the unknown terrain of selfhood. Old stories. I am unlovable. I am incomplete without them. Echo and threaten to pull Yisan back into despair. But within the void is also a possibility. Here, stripped of pretenses, you confront yourself fully. You see both the fragments of the past and the spaces where light can enter. Each question, each moment of disorientation, is an invitation to rebuild intentionally, rather than by default. The collapse is merciless, but it is not meaningless. Every tear, every tremor of anger, every pulse of fear is an entry point into self-awareness. You are forced to confront who you have been, how you have hidden from your own needs, and where you have projected your shadow onto others. You cannot bypass the void. You cannot repair what you do not face. In the emptiness, you encounter your truth, the parts of yourself that crave love, the parts that fear rejection, the parts that have been silenced. Recognizing them is painful, but it is the raw material for transformation. Imagine standing amidst the shards, bleeding but aware, trembling but alive. You see the reflection of pain, of loss, of patterns you can no longer ignore. And in that reflection, faintly, you see another possibility, a self capable of witnessing, of understanding, of choosing differently. The mirror no longer deceives, it teaches. Every jagged edge becomes a contour of insight. Every flash of grief becomes a spark of recognition. The storm does not last forever, but it leaves you changed. You are not yet whole, but the pieces you gather now are yours, to arrange consciously, not unconsciously. The void is not a punishment. It is a crossroads. You are invited to step into self-knowledge, to rebuild with awareness, to reclaim identity from the debris of failed patterns. Here, in the heart of collapse, is the first taste of freedom. Here, you learn that the disintegration of illusions is the gateway to authentic power, to resilience, to conscious love. The fragments of your identity can be gathered, not to restore what was lost, but to craft something stronger, wiser, and unbound. From brokenness comes awakening. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Carl Jung, you have been holding on to stories. Stories of devotion, of passion, of connection that felt eternal. But the truth is harsh and liberating. It was never love in the way you imagined. It was projection, unmet need, the shadow playing tricks on a heart eager to believe. Look back now and notice the patterns, the moments you excuse behavior, the times you overrode your own needs to keep the peace, the arguments that left you drained, yet convinced you were in love. Each memory is a clue. Each flash of emotion is evidence. When you dissect it carefully, without judgment, you begin to see the machinery behind the illusion. You begin to understand that much of what you called love was shaped by old wounds, by desire for validation, by the unmet parts of yourself seeking reflection in another. The projection was seamless. You gave them qualities they never owned, assigning understanding, patience, or loyalty to a partner who could not meet you in those ways. You crafted a story in your mind where they completed you, healed you, made you whole. And when reality cracked that narrative, when the flaws became unavoidable, you felt betrayed. Not by them, but by the mirror you had created. You see now that much of the attachment was unconscious, a shadow drive, in script, masquerading as romance. That intense jealousy, that quiet fear, that clinging desire, these were reflections of your own inner landscape projected outward. It was never a perfect love story. It was a dialogue with your own needs, desires, and unprocessed pain, seeking resolution in the wrong place. Release begins with recognition. Name the illusions, name the projections, name the unmet needs you tried to satisfy through another person. Do not frame it as blame or weakness. Frame it as clarity. When you see the past with open eyes, the anger dissipates, the longing softens, and the obsession fades. Resentment no longer binds you to memories. Guilt no longer pulls you into self-recrimination. You understand that holding on does not preserve love. It perpetuates suffering. By accepting the truth, you reclaim your agency. The attachment loosens, the chains fall away, and you realize you can love consciously, first by loving yourself. Letting go is not forgetting. It is reclaiming the power to choose who and what you allow into your life, moving forward. Look back at the illusions without shame or bitterness. See the patterns you repeated, the roles you unknowingly played, the shadows you carried. Understand that the other person was never the enemy, nor were you failing in love. You were learning, growing, and confronting the truth you could not see while caught in desire. Now, in this clarity, you can close the chapter without leaving parts of yourself behind. You are free to build a heart that recognizes real connection, that honors your boundaries, and that no longer mistakes dependency or projection for intimacy. It was never love in the way you needed it to be, but it was a lesson. It was a teacher, harsh yet honest, guiding you towards self-knowledge. The liberation comes when you stop clinging to what was imagined and embrace what is real, yourself, whole and capable of conscious choice. Release the illusion. Embrace your truth. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung, you have been running from it. That dark corner of yourself that whispers fear, doubt, and anger. That shadow you hide behind polite smiles, social masks, and endless distractions. but it is always there, waiting patiently. Every argument, every pang of jealousy, every flicker of resentment is a signal, a flare from the unseen self. The first step is simple, yet terrifying. Face it. Look directly at the traits you have denied. The rage that rises when someone cancels plans at the last minute. The insecurity that twists a simple comment into a personal attack. The fear of abandonment that makes you cling or withdraw. These are not flaws to be ashamed of. They are parts of you that have been silenced, exiled, or ignored. To meet the shadow is to meet yourself fully. To recognize that the darkness within is not the enemy, but a teacher. Facing the shadow is uncomfortable because it exposes your vulnerabilities. You see how past trauma shapes your reactions, how hidden fears dictate choices, how unhealed wounds drive you toward patterns that harm rather than nurture. But it is also liberating. You begin to notice triggers without judgment, to observe emotional storms as signals rather than commands. The shadow reveals where you need healing, where you need boundaries, where you need honesty, with yourself first, then with others. In relationships, this clarity is revolutionary. You can see when a fight is about a present disagreement or a past wound. You can pause, breathe, and choose response over reaction. You are no longer a slave to unconscious impulses. Once you acknowledge the shadow, you begin to alchemize pain into power. Every moment of discomfort becomes a tool for growth. Every resentment, every heartbreak, every insecurity is transformed into insight. You learn to sit with your anger without letting it dictate your actions. You learn to notice fear without fleeing. You learn to witness jealousy without projecting it onto others. This is not magic. It is conscious work. By integrating shadow traits, you reclaim energy that was scattered in defense, redirection, or avoidance. Emotional sovereignty emerges, the ability to feel deeply, respond intentionally, and act with integrity. The storm still exists, but now you are the captain, steering with awareness, rather than being tossed helplessly by currents of unexamined pain. Mastery is revealed in action. It appears in the choices you make daily. You practice setting boundaries without guilt. You voice needs instead of hiding them. You step away from toxic patterns rather than repeating them unconsciously. You choose partners who reflect maturity, presence, and shared values instead of unmet desires. You respond to conflict with curiosity, not fear. You regulate your emotions with intentionality, noticing the triggers that once overwhelmed you and choosing conscious responses instead. In meetings, friendships, and intimate moments, this clarity radiates. People notice the steadiness, the grounded energy, the refusal to be manipulated by unconscious impulses. Mastery is not perfection. It is awareness applied consistently, like a candle illuminating shadows in a dark room. This transformation does not erase the past. It does not remove the pain you have endured, but it allows the pain to become meaningful. Heartbreak, rejection, betrayal. These are now teachers, not punishers. The shadow is no longer something to fear. It is a source of guidance, a reservoir of strength, a wellspring of wisdom. Each confrontation with your darker traits is an exercise in courage. Each integration of fear, anger, or insecurity into conscious awareness is an act of liberation. You step in to relationships differently, with discernment, with authenticity, with love that does not demand sacrifice of self. The power of meeting the shadow is subtle, yet profound. It changes how you perceive yourself, how you navigate intimacy, and how you move through the world. It grants resilience, clarity, and the capacity to create bonds rooted in truth rather than projection. You no longer chase illusions, react blindly, or seek validation externally. You anchor in the understanding that you contain all you need to navigate life with wisdom, strength, and presence. The shadow becomes an ally, not a jailer, and your life becomes a testament to conscious choice. Embrace the shadow, reclaim your power. Peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of consciousness. Carl Jung. You have walked through storms of emotion, through shattered mirrors, through shadows that once whispered fear and doubt. And now, in the quiet that follows, there is a stillness that feels almost sacred. This is not emptiness, it is mastery. You have seen the illusions, faced the parts of yourself you once denied, and reclaimed pieces of your identity scattered across the battlefield of relationships. With each insight, each confrontation with the shadow, you have built a foundation of clarity. Your heart no longer trembles at the memory of chaos. Your mind no longer repeats old scripts unconsciously. You sit in a calm you have earned, a serenity that is quiet but powerful. It is the kind of peace that allows you to observe life with depth, to listen before you speak, to feel without being swept away. Choosing peace over reaction is not passive, it is a conscious action. When conflict arises, you no longer respond from fear, anger, or unmet need. You pause, you breathe, you recognize the trigger, and distinguish between the present moment and echoes of the past. You respond with clarity rather than react with instinct. The argument that once spiraled into hours of hurt and misunderstanding now becomes an opportunity for dialogue, understanding, and growth. The emotional storms that once defined your days are now met with calm observation. Your relationships are no longer arenas for projection, repetition, or unresolved pain. They are spaces where presence, choice, and conscious attention shape the outcome. This is empowerment in its quietest, most profound form. And now, envision the intimacy that grows from this work. Imagine a connection unclouded by projection, unchained from the weight of past wounds. Two people, present, honest, and aligned, sharing moments without fear or neediness. Conversations that flow without manipulation, touch that carries presence instead of insecurity, laughter that arises naturally, not as a mask. You approach others not seeking completion, but offering understanding. You love not from dependence, but from wholeness. In this vision, love becomes a mirror of conscious choice, reflecting self-mastery, respect, and authenticity. The chaos of past relationships fades into memory, replaced by connection rooted in awareness, compassion, and trust. You carry the lessons, the shadow, and the clarity forward, transforming every encounter into an opportunity for presence, growth, and genuine intimacy. You have learned that peace is not given, it is chosen. You have discovered that serenity is forged in the fire of self-knowledge and shadow integration. You understand that real power lies not in control over others, but in mastery over yourself. And as you move forward, you carry a heart unafraid, a mind unshaken, and a spirit anchored in conscious awareness. The path ahead is not free of challenge, but it is illuminated by the clarity of choice, the depth of presence, and the enduring strength of self-mastery. Choose peace, embrace presence, live consciously.